As a foreclosure lawyer, I can speak to this quite strongly. Foreclosures are not always about getting a deal. The courts want to make sure that whoever is foreclosing on that property, whether it's a bank or a private lender, that they are getting as much of a recovery as they can. So people think that if they're going to buy a foreclosure house, they're going to get it for pennies or whatever, but the court ultimately approves that sale. And so it's not always going to be a great deal for you. And it also comes with no representations or warranties from the seller, because the seller is the court and they've obviously never lived in that property and they can't speak to, hey, the roof is falling apart or any of these defects that might happen in the house. So if I've got a buyer that is buying a foreclosure property, even though the contract says as is, where is, and there's no representations and warranties coming from the vendor, it's always a good idea to get an inspection done. That way, at least you know what's coming and there's no surprise, your roof is caved in. So the inspector will come in and they will run through the property and say, listen, it's in pretty good shape. There are some things, like no house is perfect. There might be some weird little things. The door gets stuck when you try to close it. Or it might be worse. It might be something to do with the framing or the roofing or whatever the case may be. But to have that inspection report that you can look back on and budget for those things that they think might go. Maybe it's the furnace that's going to go right away. At least you have the knowledge from that inspection and know you can't pursue the vendor for it because there are no representations and warranties that say the furnace was in good working order. At least you know about it and you can put some money aside for it to say, okay, I know that this furnace is on its last leg and it needs to be replaced in 2 years. I'm going to start putting cash aside to replace